I won't even attempt to tell a lie and say that Undertale isn't my favorite game ever.
A game that single-handedly changed the way people saw indie games and even each other. As we know from just how much I go on and on about this game, it changed my life and the lives of millions of people across the world. Whether that was through giving them a new outlook on life, like me, or inspiring them, like they did with her. Camila Cuevas is an animator, maybe too strong of a word. Camila is an artist with 1.6 million subscribers on YouTube. This was mainly due to her really terrible and poorly written series, Glitch Tale. This series is similar to McDonald's in the way that McDonald's classifies as food. This sure is an Undertale fan animation, most of the time when Camila can be bothered to actually animate things. No matter how much randos on the internet want to say that Undertale is a mature game, the majority of its fan base are children. At the time of its release, I was 9 years old. Thankfully, I wasn't in the fan base at the time. However, people much younger than me were, and unfortunately with fandoms like this, a monster is always waiting to exploit these younger children. The discussion of the responsibilities creators have regarding their why is my door creaking? The discussion of the responsibilities creators have regarding their audience is something I'm very interested in. This is because I feel every creator deserves a different answer. For example, Dream.
I'm tired of suffering.
I'd say he's way too close to his fans and relies on them as a shield, which could cause a bunch of parasocial weirdos to obsess over his face and baby pictures. In Camila's case, I believe that she is obligated to protect her majority minor audience. And if you haven't watched my last two videos, you should know she didn't do that. A small recap on that, by the way. Camila was informed about a groomer in her Discord server. Instead of dealing with the situation appropriately, she silenced the victims, lied about banning the groomer, hid all of this from the public, and never addressed it until Crystal Flame had built up the bravery to give this another shot. Thankfully this time, people did catch wind of this and began to investigate. This caused Camila to go into damage control mode and release a god-awful apology where she blamed everything on being in a dark place or the In my video, I said I had high hopes after this apology. And I was dead wrong, because everything that got released is why I believe Camila is beyond redemption. I have to mention obviously that I made 2 of these videos beforehand and some people didn't like them very much. Personal issues aside, I want to take a minute to tell everyone to watch these videos. Hopeless Peaches and Queen Seraphina did a really good job breaking everything down and really getting into the nitty gritty of the entire situation. And I really want to give my props to them, as these are required videos to watch if you want to truly understand the depravity of the Glitch Tale fandom. Honestly, it takes a lot of fortitude to sit through some of the darkest chat logs I've ever had the displeasure of reading. And I really respect their ability to do so. Those videos, along with Crystal Flame's co-fight, are linked in the description. But enough about us. Let's talk about you. You are the one person who I genuinely thought could come back from something like this. But you decided you'd keep sniffing your own arm crack instead, and now we're here. You have become the first trilogy on this channel. Congrats. This video sucked, by the way. Oh, it's unlisted now? Okay, sure. Anyway, before I rip this video to shreds, let's talk about everything that occurred after my video's release. Camila's server was just a hub for pedophiles, as Veer wasn't the only person who was exploiting children. One of these predators was even playing double agent for Camila to Peaches. I can't be the one to like post whatever huge post we make, cause she'd just be like big YouTuber bully small YouTuber emoji. It has to be one of you guys, so I just reblogged the hell out of it. Kami, I'll play the fool for you. Oh whoa. I mean, for Peaches. I make her think I'm on her side. Oh whoa. She doesn't know this, so oh sure, she's speaking to me. As I said before, Hopeless Peaches breaks this down in a much more calm and developed manner than I ever could, because I would have just screamed for an hour if I were in her shoes. I don't want to focus too much on Peaches, but some of the logs that have been shared just need to be documented forever. Thanks. Well, Veer has been wanting to tell you something for a long time. He's scared to talk to you about this, but he's being strong and talking to you about it right now. Okay, what is it? He's been contemplating telling you this for an hour. I noticed. What is it? It's about his feelings for you and what he's doing for you, what he thinks you wouldn't understand. I have extreme desires that I fight off literally every single day. Technically, I'm a sexual addict that feels physical pain when I don't handle situations. Naturally, I can't talk to you about this stuff like this, so I just ignore it and fight off all the urges and stuff, even though other women offer to help me take care of this horrible problem. I've been fighting it off our entire relationship, and I was prepared to just feel the weight of the world off my shoulders until we truly got together, or whatever. But God, Kami, it's so hard, and I don't think you understand it. But how could you? I just hope you appreciate my efforts, because it's one of the most difficult things I've ever done. Oh, I don't know it's going to be like 2 to 4 years before anything like that even becomes remotely possible between us. But I've just been noticing changes in myself and my attitude brought on by this problem not being resolved. And I don't know what to do about it. Now I'm sure someone is asking why I read off sexually charged messages Veer had sent to Camila, and while I already gagged at the messages and took 4 showers, what makes it much worse is that a 14-year-old was present during all of this. For some reason, Camila is more focused on the fact that Veer is horny posting instead of the fact that he admitting to having CP in the form of nude from a minor, and that he was using a 14-year-old as his wingman. Camila was 23 at the time and Veer was a year younger. Why is a 14-year-old in this chat? That to me is this entire situation. Camila time after time was informed about these terrible people and their terrible actions, and not once did she ever do anything about it. She has always been like this. Whether it was the way she tried handling Peaches by using her friends as whistleblowers, or the way she handled real life victims coming to her. The person with the platform, the person with the server about how one of her friends used it and abused them, and her response was to hide it. Not you. Imagine if someone lied about it. It feels as wrong as that. Okay? To handle this properly, I need you to tell those YouTubers that the solution is being handled in private with the ones involved. You cannot expose blank to the public like this. Even before our chat, this can't be shared anywhere because she never gave you consent to do so. I've shared it with nobody else and don't plan to. It'd be better if you go off and delete those, so you don't need to feel tempted to. It's not on your right to choose what to do with those. She has never cared about anyone but herself. She cares about how useful or entertaining people are to her. That's why she was fine playing League with a group. That's one of the reasons she was fine sheltering so many predators. The other is because she would go to enormous lengths just to protect her perfect image. This image that she was this kind person who would never do anything bad or even misuse her platform. A fragile facade that would break the very minute she was in a private setting. This is a joke. What? I'm up to date. Ellipsis. And then proceed to do things that are inappropriate is not how it works. Look, I don't give a flying fiddle if you want to dub an entire movie in this server, but the fact that you and everyone else involved thought it was okay to do so in front of 30 greenies in the audience listens to VC is completely unacceptable. Understandable. You and Simon will be demodded to just mods, and the only reason I'm not considering a ban is because we need mods right now, sadly. I can't even believe how you or anyone else thought this was okay thing to do. I have no idea what was in your head, as if there weren't going to be consequences for doing such an irresponsible thing. I'm more than disappointed. The fact that both Crystal and Simon were about to receive a harsher punishment than the person who literally grew kids is the best way I could ever show this. She admitted that she didn't give a flying heck about a minor being shown porn by adults. She cares that people are around to see it. Obviously, she wasn't the only notable figure involved either. Both Nyx the Shield and JK Animations came out with threads regarding Camila, and they were awful.
For people who thought I was an admin of the server, that was just in paper. I was constantly de-admined, demodded, and kicked from the server through the years for simple stuff like asking the rest of the mod team to not say slurs or standing up against the Midnight Crew. I personally left the server for a long while because I really did not want to be around some of the people there. All of this happened years ago, from 2016 to around 2020. On the early years, my full income came from YouTube/GlitchTale. I was a broke college student and my economic stability depended on it. Despite this, and making literally hundreds of tracks and hours of music for the series, most of the income came from my own ad revenue. I was paid less than 2,000 USD for all of the work. Essentially, I was paid an exposure. As you might be aware, extremely serious and true allegations were made against Camila and his partner Veer, which was accused of grooming minors from 2015 to 2021. There are really good videos out there explaining the entire timeline of what transpired, but I specifically want to talk about 2020. In that year, a public document was made by my head mod Crystal Flames alongside 2 other mods in the GT server that exposed Veer and their actions. This document went mostly unnoticed. Even more, Crystal went through a lot of abuse for coming forward about their abuse, and was almost ostracized from the Undertale AU community because of this. Because of this, I was asked directly by one of the victims, and also representing the other victims, to please not speak up, citing that they just wanted to move on and didn't want to involve themselves with more problems and expose themselves. All of the info was kept very vague from me, including the people who were involved, the extent of the stuff that went down, etc., but I knew enough to know that it was serious. I followed the request and didn't speak up publicly about this, but I banned Veer from my server, warned all of my mods and people close to me in those circles about Veer, and constantly tried to get Camila to please address the situation. Despite this, she did not listen, and we all know how stuff went down later in 2022, where the allegations came back again with full force. This time around, I wasn't asked to stay silent, so I spread the word around and confronted the entire mod team. I was shortly banned after that. I needed to address this because this thing has been eating me alive for years. I was intentionally kept in the dark about a lot of context and nuance that would have completely changed my mind about speaking up or not about what happened in 2020.
Like, I cannot express this enough. Nyx the Shield is a liar. Nyx is also a person who had known about this for years and gave maybe one of the dumbest responses I've ever seen. Oh, 2014 is rough here, but yet she still says only found out a year ago. I don't get it. I really don't. Before like 2018, it was normalized to date minors. It's a Latino thing. It's horrible, but it was normalized. Oh, and you're mad. Like, you're actually mad. Are you serious right now? I feel so used right now. What happened? Someone I considered extremely close really betrayed my trust, airing private screenshots about my mental health which I never intended to be public, for personal gain. This isn't about personal gain. Nyx, you actively ignored information because it's a Latino thing. Oh yeah, in Jamaica, being a cheating asshole is normal, so it's not a big deal if it happens to you. Sorry, my hands are tied. This isn't the only time Nyx has done this to excuse bad behavior either. It has come to my attention someone has leaked screenshots from a Skype chat that is almost 8 years old, and I feel I need to address it. First, I was around 21 at the time, and I am from Chile. I don't know if you'll be surprised by this, but we are extremely misogynistic. We are extremely misogynistic, use extremely sexual language, we use slurs and ableist language, and all in all, look through most developed lenses. We just suck. I did all these bad things. They're bad, but listen, I got Latino swag. None of that is a defense for your horrible actions. I feel like I'm going bloody mad and I still haven't gotten to Camila's apology video. JK Productions also made a thread, and for brevity's sake, I will explain my main issue of this thread without reading all 31 tweets. Aww, Camila was a bit mean to you. That's obviously bad, but I can't really have any sympathy for you either when you knew about the glitch server and did nothing. Most of the thread is about how mean Camila was to them, and that's fair. That's really fair that you feel like Camila treated you poorly. But I want to remind everyone that the main reason JK made this thread was because they suddenly gained the courage from victims speaking out. Victims they would know about already. Nyx and JK both donated to Crystal Flame's Ko-Fi. Linked in the description, by the way. But Crystal refunded the both of them, which is entirely their choice. I brought this up just because of the literal turbo cancer I saw in some of these tweets. I agree that you guys need to talk about this privately instead of this being public. I know you're trying, but it's really up to Crystal in the end. I just hope things get resolved between you and Nyx as well.
Amazing. Every word of what you just said was wrong.
Not really sure why Crystal is being flamed for rejecting hush money, but pop off my good ex users. It took Camila being mean to both of these people for them to actually say something, and that's sick. This reads like a PR response after realizing that one of your associates defends pedos. All of these people are so corrupt. But hey, it's fine, they're all from South America and that's normal. The first like 10 minutes of this video isn't even the reason I made the video. This was just extra stuff I needed people to know about, because honestly, I did drop the ball originally and I will own up to that. That's a huge mark. I said Camila's original post would lead to good things. Passport oranges, you are a liar. Camila's response to the accusations that she's a psychopathic pet offender is one of the most frustrating videos I've ever watched. The very second someone posted the video to my server, I instantly downloaded the video because, and I hope I'm not surprising a soul when I say this, Camila removed the video. Tell me something was made for PR without telling me that you made this video for PR. You twat waffle. If you really meant to give anyone any closure, you would have owned up to what you did and f***ed off, because let's be honest, you can't handle having a platform. If I get going, I'm not gonna stop. So let's just talk about this god awful video. This video was quite long, but I'm breaking it down for some time since a lot of this video is just Camila throwing a pity party for herself.
Hang on. Antes de empezar, va a ser la mayoría del video en inglés. Hay una parte que va a estar en español. Voy a tratar de subtitularlo después, no sé cuándo. But for now, I'm going to speak in English, and I'm sorry if I take too long to talk. I'm not used to express my feelings. I never have. It's a problem I've always had, and it's worse when I talk. So I wasn't going to use my channel for this. I swore to myself I didn't want to use my channel for something that wasn't art related, but I think it's got to the point where I feel I have to, not only for the people involved, but also for me and my mental state, like the things I the things I feel that I have to say publicly. If you don't know about the topic or don't care, just close the video, honestly. Like, who cares?
Just based on the way that she has behaved throughout all of this, and for the past 8 and a bit years, this was said just so less people would know. That is the only reason I could think of.
I'm going to start by talking about my experience with the guy that you might have heard, Veer. If you had the misfortune to read his name in one of my works, I knew him for over 10 years. I think we met when I was 15. And well, things just started from there. I never was one to have many friends.
Are you serious? I'm sorry. Actually, I'm really not. I'm sorry, but did you seriously not even explain what Veer did? You shoo people off so less people hear about it, and yet you still can't even be bothered to even explain? Just get in there and make it about you, I guess. Camila spends too long talking about her own personal life in order to get some sympathy, and all I'll say is this.
Don't care, don't care, don't care, still don't.
Damn, that sucks. Really, it does. But that doesn't excuse any of your actions. Because as much as you try to pretend that you only knew for 2 years, you've known since 2014. Why are you just the worst person ever?
Until he came along. Seemed like a nice guy. He liked the same things as I did. And that's how we just started talking. Sadly, I started to normalize behaviors that he had that are completely unacceptable, that for me were normal at the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna call BS on that one. This is something Camila does a lot during this video. She is quick to put the blame on Veer as the reason she acted like a twat. Thing is, I'm not doubting the fact that she was more lenient with him because they were dating. It's the fact that she tries to remove her own agency. You're in your 20s, and while I'm not saying you have your entire life figured out, you are still an adult who can think for themselves.
He forced me to call him my boyfriend, even though he knew I was asexual. Never once did I express any love for him. No, nothing.
Now, as someone who has literally read your chat logs between the two of you in this very video, why even lie like that? God, despite everything, the face cam, no music, the video made to humanize you just makes you look more alienated. This reads like a company cutting ties with a person. Camila, no one is going to believe that. She's using Veer as a scapegoat for her own actions, and it's so obvious. I would have loved to see the brain dead comments under this video. I really would.
My social ineptitude and my own incompetence when it comes to manage a community led me to leave him in charge because I just wanted to draw. The only point of having a community for me was to share my art with people that liked it. And I made the fatal mistake of trusting someone that wasn't a good person, and therefore the people around them. People that were in the Discord for years will probably notice that if it wasn't art related, I wouldn't really talk in the Discord because I didn't have time, didn't want to either. I just wanted to draw. But sadly, at my back and in secret, he was doing awful things, all the things that he's accused of, being inappropriate falls short to the things that he did, the emotional damage that he caused to people that were also my friends. I'll never forgive him for that.
Okay. English isn't Camila's first language, and I understand that, but her refusal to actually explain what Veer did and the part that she had in platforming him makes me sick. If she really wants to face consequences for her actions, then why won't she talk about her real actions? This video was a joke.
I didn't understand the severity of the situation. Back then when it was first mentioned to me, I didn't have the full picture. I think it was 2020, and it was like, hey, Veer used to say this and that in the chat. But I was like, yeah, well, he did that to me every day as well. I didn't see anything wrong with it. Things like, you know, an 18 or 19-year-old being in a relationship with someone with, like, you know, that kind of gross things. I didn't consider them bad. I didn't know better. I should have. But it was my fault for being, I guess it's, yeah, that's where I'm sorry. It's hard for me to talk. It's my fault for being so independent of someone, just because it was the first friend I had, and that wasn't right.
This is a lot. Firstly, heck you mean you didn't understand the severity of the situation? It was spelled out to you with screenshots and everything. Secondly, and this one is for you viewers, notice how she doesn't specify what the age gap was. It's almost like every single person on the planet would have realized how terrible this would make her look. It's almost like she did that intentionally to avoid people finding out what she did. I wonder. I don't know why you're trying to portray yourself as another victim of Veer. You're awful, and it's awful that you pretend the only mistake you did was being too kind.
It wasn't until next year, I believe, that one of my friends told me the full story of the things he did. And that's when I was shocked, of course. I didn't think him capable or something like that. People would say, everyone would say, and started to tell me when this started to come to light, they told me that he would act completely different around me and a completely different person when he was interacting with my other friend group.
You were there. You were actually there during some of this, and you saw no problem with it. When you saw it, you tried to hide it and told Crystal to delete the evidence. You weren't just an ignorant person in this. You, Camila, were protecting her because you couldn't be bothered to do your job as a creator. But no guys, her relative died.
Now I make myself responsible for the things committed in the, you know, in the community chat, but I feel like I cannot take personal responsibility for the direct actions of these people that did this at my back and in secret. Now I'm gonna switch to Spanish.
Once again, I remind you all that Camila knew about the predators in her server. Camila tried to hide evidence, and after 26 minutes still hasn't uttered a word of the crimes Veer had committed. It's been a while since I've actually gotten pissed off at a video. It's just so frustrating. It's knowing people will believe her and not check her for her lies that bothers me so much, and the fact that she's completely fine lying to her audience. It blows my blood even more. The Spanish section of her video is the only part I'll say is good, as she isn't spending the majority of it fumbling around like a clown trying to avoid taking responsibility. To Felipe, I first want to apologize for not listening to you. I've been going through the worst things that have ever happened in my life. I simply couldn't think straight, and the worst person I had trusted the worst person possible. For that, I do apologize. But in the other stuff you've put is that I would practically pay you an exposure. I'm not sure. I remember clearly that in the post that I made on Facebook with the first animation of my series that you commented on the post asking, can I make the music for your series? I don't have money to pay for it, but it doesn't matter. Let's do it. It was like a deal with another friend. We both benefited from this. Your channel grew and I can enjoy your musical talent, but it was a situation of friendship we had. Compared to everything, this part feels really tame in comparison, but I want to highlight just how toxic this friend group was. Everyone in this group were all two-faced creeps. Nix, if you agreed to work for free, don't complain later on, you dickhead.
To finish this video, I guess a sort of suggestion, if someone makes you uncomfortable, ever, either real life or especially the internet, leave. Even if the cost is to stay alone, just leave. Because I just learned that the hard way. It's just not worth it. If you have a community and you think you can handle it, don't give your trust to people that you don't really know, that you haven't seen face to face. Because anyone can put a facade on the internet for years and just keep it up that way. I'm not doing this to victimize myself. I just want to say things from my perspective, how they happened from my point of view. things that have marked my life forever. I think that the bad things came with a lesson that, like I said, I learned the hard way. And I don't want to cause any more trouble for anyone. I'm trying to regain my love for drawing, which I lost. I'm trying to regain the positivity I had, which I lost. And I'm gonna take my time. It's really hard for me to to speak about these things. I'm not really used to be this exposed. At least I managed to stay together, I guess, the whole way through, so that's a plus. And yeah, I'm not going to allow comments, I think, on the video, because I'm not interested in reading anything that anyone has to say about the things I said in this video. I just wanted to tell things from my perspective.
In this god-awful video, a video that never addresses the issue people had with Camila and doesn't even mention anything Veer or Artie did. The video where she only gave an honest response with evidence 26 minutes in for some stupid friend drama. In this video that disrespects the intelligence of her viewers and the horrible stuff the victims had to go through, she spends the last few minutes making it all about herself. About how she trusted the wrong person, about how it was her being manipulated, about how she was a victim, and this wasn't a single apology given in this video to Crystal or anyone actually affected. She didn't even bring up the crime Veer committed or her real involvement. She couldn't even be bothered to enable comments or, hell, keep the video up. I said this before, but if you really cared about the victims and taking accountability, where is the video? Why is it no longer on your channel for everyone to see? Camila Cuevas is a person who has never cared about anyone but herself. The reason she never cut off Veer is because it was no longer profitable keeping him around. The reason she even made a response is because she couldn't ignore this anymore due to the massive amounts of backlash everyone's videos caused. From the moment this all resurfaced until now, Camila has shown how little she cared about anything and anyone. Not her fans, not the victims, nothing. That's it. It's finally over. There isn't anything else I could possibly say about Camila Cuevas that wouldn't be repeating myself. So this is where I will end everything off, hopefully for good this time. If Camila is watching this video, I want you to know that this isn't going to be forgotten and people aren't going to stop digging. Eventually, you have to address this again. And when this happens, we'll see how you respond. You were offered multiple chances to become a better person and you never took any of them. Expecting you to change was the biggest mistake I've ever made on this channel. Thanks to everyone who sat through this video. I especially want to thank my $5 channel members, Alex the Shark, Anchi Cryer, Jesus, King Johnny TH445, Ant, Pwep, Saban, Oliver, Nekocho Official, Grizzly Bear 1996, Kinda Snowy, Clapped Seal, and Alien Hunter. I'm gonna go take a shower again because I feel really gross after all of this. Have a good day. See ya, lads.